And we are live on a little later edition of All In on High School Sports. Jennifer Valenti, Kurt Valenti, how are you?
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us.
Nice little show tonight. A little late, but not that late. We just moved the time up to accommodate some of our guests. Happy March Madness to everybody. First four going on right now. I don't even know who the schools are. Texas Southern and Texas A&M.
Corpus Christi.
Corpus Christi, there you go. With another game coming tonight. So great time to be a college basketball fan. I know you're pumped. I'm pumped. But it's a great time to be a high school fan because spring season, it's not around the corner anymore. It's here.
Yeah.
And we're going to go back a little bit with one of our guests for the winter.
Mm-hmm. So tonight we are welcoming back Christy Brennan from Hopatcong Basketball. I'll introduce her once she comes in. She's in the waiting room and remind you a little bit about her high school basketball career. And then we'll be joined by Coach Sarah Piening. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing her name correctly once she joins us. From Immaculate Conception of Lodi Softball. She's first year at the helm, so she'll talk a little bit about her program and her team and her outlook for the season. So with that said, should I let Christy in?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, awesome. Let's get her in here. And then, like I said, I will officially reintroduce her to the audience.
By the way, before you get Christy, yep. Mr. Kirkpatrick, good evening, All In on High School Sports family. What's going on, Mr. Kirkpatrick?
Hey, Kenny, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Hi, Christy. Welcome back. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us, especially on our little later edition this evening.
Yeah, of course.
So allow me to reintroduce you to our audience. We are welcoming back Christy Brennan from Hopatcong High School Girls Basketball. We had her as a guest on February 8th, and at that time we were celebrating one of her accomplishments. She became the all-time leading girls scorer in basketball at her school with 1,688 points. At the time of that show, Christy, you had another goal for the games left in the season, and that was for you to hit 2,000 career points, which you did achieve on the second to last game of the season. So congratulations and welcome back. We're glad we are with you to celebrate that accomplishment.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Again, Chrissy, congratulations on both accomplishments, but the 2,000 points, it's, not many people do it. So, again, congratulations. So I guess my first question is now that it's over, you're done, you're not in the season now, you had a little time to kind of look back. I guess two-part question. One, your career overall, and of the two accomplishments of being the leading scorer and the 2,000 and being able to score the 2,000 points.
I don't even know. It's honestly, well, first it's relief that I did it and that, I did it with my whole team around me and supporting me. And, I don't know, it was just such an amazing feeling, having my town supporting me, everything. The whole atmosphere of it all was just incredible.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, right, you're the third person in, which is really quite a history of basketball at that school. There were two male players who had done it before you, a father-son, correct? A Matt Tobin and a Dennis Tobin?
Yeah, that's correct.
And Matt was the son who broke his father's record, I think, right? And then they both came to the game. Is that right?
Yeah, they were there. They took a picture with me at half court when I scored it. So yeah, they were able to celebrate that with me.
That's awesome. Again, we had a student athlete on last week, and he broke the school scoring record at West Essex, and he said just same thing, the person who held the record was there, but it's just how the community kind of rallies around it is just so nice to see. That's awesome.
So let's do this. Yeah. Let's walk us through how many points did you need, how many points did you need in that game to get it? And of course, what kind of shot, how did you break it? Free throw, 3-pointer, regular 2-point basket, and what were your nerves throughout that game?
Well, honestly, I needed 26 points going into that game, and I was nervous, but I wasn't as nervous as for my 1,000-point game or for the breaking the record, because I knew it was a lot of points, and I was hold on, let me rephrase that. I was definitely nervous, but I was thinking to myself, you just got to play a regular game because if I do get it, it's gonna be later on in the game, and I know my team needs me to like try to win this game. So I need to just be able to play my game and not be nervous and all jittery. So those were my nerves going into it. And then I scored it actually off of a free throw. And yeah, that's how it all went down.
Did you feel though like relief once you got it, or like was it like a little like pressure, like you're saying like pressure, but once you got it, was it like okay, now it's just regular basketball?
Oh yeah, definitely. It was so much pressure taken off my shoulders that I felt the whole season because that was my end goal. So that was definitely a lot of pressure taken off. That's what everybody kept asking me. Is the pressure off? Is the pressure off? Definitely.
Now, you said you needed, was it 25 going in?
26.
26. And you scored 41 that game, correct? So how early in the game was the 26th point? Or how late in the game?
I think it was it's either the end of the third quarter or it was the beginning of the fourth quarter. It was the
Okay.
beginning.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. So you had, and I know it went to overtime, right? The game went to overtime as well.
Yeah.
And then you had your state tournament game after that. So you've ended with 2,039 points. Is that right?
Yeah.
Such an awesome accomplishment.
Yeah.
Really. What a and you missed some games, right? A shortened season due to a little bit last year, right? Due to COVID. So congratulations, Christy. Again, what an awesome accomplishment.
Thank you.
Yeah, and so like go over that night. So when you do get the points, like how happy were your teammates? How happy were your coaching staff? Like you're saying, the fans were crazy. Can you explain it a little bit?
Yeah, so funny story, my sister is on the coaching staff. So she had a bunch of shirts made and like rally towels that got all the fans there and like all, excited and everything. And the coaching staff was just like so proud and like happy for me because they knew that I worked so hard for this. And
Now
same
this
thing with,
happened. Now this happened at home.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the same thing with my teammates. They were just so proud and excited to have like been there with me and experienced it all with me.
Nice. And last time we had you on the show, we were talking a little bit about you playing at the next level, and I know you had not made a decision yet. Anything happened since then in your college decision, or still thinking about it?
Still undecided. Going on a couple college trips in the near future. So hopefully gonna be committed somewhere in the near future too. So.
Awesome. Very nice. Very nice. And I know the season has officially ended for you guys, but what about you? What's your spring basketball plans look like?
We actually already started. Yeah. So it was like right after the regular basketball season ended for high school. We started AAU, and yeah, we practiced twice so far. So, and then we're gonna have a season that goes until mid-July. So yeah.
Very nice.
Looking back now, since again the season's over, what's a couple things you're gonna miss next year?
Well, obviously, my team that I've spent the last 4 years with, the coaches, just like having a small town that has like a big support system behind you. And I'm not really going to be used to having, a big crowd of people at our games. So, yeah, I'm just going to miss all of the small town type stuff.
All right, now I got one more, Jen. I'm sorry,
That's
because I
okay.
want to go off of what she's saying. So now, you mentioned your sister, obviously, your coach who you broke the record, and I know it's down the line, and you got a career left. But is there any chance you might be eventually go to the coaching sideline?
That is a good question.
So there's a
um,
chance. There's a chance.
there's probably a chance of me like maybe being a trainer,
Okay.
not necessarily a coach, because I don't have the best patience.
Well, you're still young. You might, like, a couple of years down the
Yeah,
road, you
I
might
might
get it, you know?
that, yeah, up to that. But yeah, I mean, I would love to be a coach, but yeah, I have to overcome that first.
Okay.
That's awesome. Yeah, is training what you're going to pursue in when is that what you're looking to pursue as your major?
No, I'm looking to pursue computer science actually.
Oh, very nice.
Nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Listen, you'll always have a job. That's all I'm going to say with computers.
We're
So
talking to a computer.
go do
computer
it.
guy
Go
here.
do it.
Yeah.
And a STEAM teacher, so definitely.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I guess, like, before you go, Christy, like, what if you had to say? I think we kind of asked you again, but again, now it's a little, emotions are different. The season's over. If you had to say something to the Hopatcong, again, the school, the administration, the fans, what would you like to say about not only this year but your whole 4 years in the program?
Well, first I would thank them for like everything that they've done with giving awards, recognition, and all that type of stuff, and making sure that the whole community is behind me and everything. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay.
I'm so sorry I accidentally let our next guest in. That's my fault. I meant to message her that we were waiting that to thank her for waiting in the waiting room. Like I messaged you, Christy, when you were in there. So I apologize. I let her in.
All I gotta say is,
I probably just thoroughly confused her.
Well, I'll just say this: we may never ever on our show have a 2,000-point scorer and a 4-time state
Seriously,
pitching champion.
those were two
That's like
phenomenal
legend
athletes
status
on
on the
screen
show.
at the same
So
time.
it may
Yeah.
never get better than that. So we might screenshot that and post that tonight.
Oh my goodness. I'm usually pretty good. That's a first for me. I don't think I've done that in all of our time, so I apologize about that. But Christy, thank you again for joining us.
First.
We were so, excited to have you on when you broke the record. We were following you and we saw that you hit your next goal. We wanted to invite you back and celebrate that with you as well. So keep
Thank
up the
you.
good work.
And
we'll
you know
be
what?
watching to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
where you just make your college decision, and of course looking forward to following your career at the next level as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Anytime you want, hey, you're welcome. Come on. When you do make a decision, decide to play where you play, we can come on and talk about it.
Absolutely.
And again, we always look forward to talking with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'll definitely let you guys know.
Awesome. Thank you and congratulations again, Christy.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Have
You
a good
too.
night.
Good night.
Okay, so
right.
Christy Brennan,
We'll bring our-
2,000-point scorer.
Bring our next guest in so I don't lose her while she's patiently waiting. I apologize. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm so sorry about that. I meant to message you that we were waiting, and I accidentally brought you in. I don't usually do that. I'm a little embarrassed. I'm so sorry.
Strike one for Jen tonight. Strike one.
No, that's okay. No worries.
Well, allow me, Coach, to officially introduce you to our audience. I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your last name correctly as well. Coach Piening?
Piening.
Piening. Okay, I'm sorry. There we go. Strike two against
Strike
Jen
two tonight, yeah.
Batting 1,000 for Coach tonight. All right. Coach Piening is beginning her first year at the helm at Immaculate Conception of Lodi for softball. IC is, I'm going to say, a North Jersey powerhouse in softball, right? 7 straight non-public championships from 2013 to 2019. They were Tournament of Champion runners-up 2 years in a row, 2017 and 2018. And Coach Piening is a major part of their storied history, with an impressive high school resume herself, which has accolades which include being the first pitcher in the history of New Jersey to win 4 state softball championships. She amassed 83 wins with 1,062 strikeouts, 17 no-hitters, and 31 shutouts in her 4 years at Immaculate Conception. She was an all-state, an all-non-public, an all-North Jersey, and all-Bergen County selection, and she was also a 2-time NJAC League Player of the Year. When she captained her team, it was MVP for 3 seasons. So, Coach, welcome. I'm sorry it took me so long to go through all of your accolades. They're so impressive. I had to make sure that I mentioned them. And congratulations on becoming your first year as head coach at IC.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me this evening.
Our pleasure.
Again, Coach, congratulations. Like Jen said, I had the honor and pleasure of watching you. Obviously,
As did I.
Yep, you did see it. I don't know if you know. I'm not sure if you did.
I think I did. Wasn't she with Gabby?
You might have, but you might have then.
I was.
What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2016.
You didn't.
Oh, I didn't.
You
No,
didn't.
I
She
did.
did.
I
She
missed-
wasn't.
I missed,
But
yeah.
as
Sorry.
with my sister Jody, obviously being on staff, I did go see a lot of the games. So it was an honor seeing you. And like Jen said, all the accolades. I mean, it was just an unbelievable player. So
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. So my first question is, why did you decide to take the job at IC, and how did that all go down with you becoming the head coach?
So recently, it was, I believe in May, I had gotten a call from Coach Andy. So Coach Andy and I graduated together in 2016. And she was like, hey, if you're free after you graduate, because at that point I hadn't graduated yet, I was still down in Delaware. She was like, come down to the school and help out. We're in need of a little bit of like a culture reconstruction. So I'm like, oh, cool. Like, my alma mater, I would love to come back. So I actually graduated that morning and went down to IC for their practice the day before the IHA game. And I went down and I kind of introduced myself, and it was honestly such a great feeling. I felt like when I walked back in the doors, I was home again. Because I hadn't really been back. I mean, I had been back for alumni breakfasts and things such as those, but nothing really softball related. So being back was super, super amazing for me. And so I came back, and at that point, Coach Rob was the interim head coach and Coach Andy was the assistant. So I kind of just went back down and, we spoke a little bit about getting the history back and the culture back and kind of what it really meant to Coach Andy and I to be a Blue Wolf. And at that time, the program's culture was a little bit in distress. The girls had gone through a lot with the coaching changes, and they were just under a lot of stress for sure at that point for teenage girls, rightfully so. So I had gone down, and then the position had opened up for head coach, and I figured why not apply. And so I went for it, and I was super, super excited, and I couldn't be any more thankful that they trusted me with the program. And I'm super thankful for Mr. Dale Fava for giving me the opportunity, and the staff of IC and his sister, who actually was my teacher. She's now the principal, Jessica Catrona. She's awesome. So kind of getting the job really just opened my eyes. I always knew that I wanted to coach, but I never thought that it would be right out of college and it would be my alma mater. So I feel like everything kind of just fell right into place for me. And honestly, for me, a big thing is for passion and relationships. So I feel like I'm meant to be there because of the passion that I have for the school, being that it was my alma mater. So I feel like being back there just feels like I'm back home, and I couldn't be any more excited for the season. I get so excited for practices every single day. It's honestly like a dream come true right now.
That's awesome.
great.
Coach, as I mentioned before, you're a product of IC softball yourself. What did you learn as a student athlete at IC that you hope to impart upon your girls?
I think the biggest thing out of Immaculate Conception for myself was the sisterhood that was created there. I think that the relationships I formed there as a student as well as an athlete, those are girls that I'm still friends with, some of them best friends with, and girls that I will forever keep in touch with, players and teammates that will forever be my side and that will always support each other through all of our endeavors. So I think that having the ability to go to an all-girls school such as IC, and being that it's so small, it's very, very personable. And I think that was my biggest take out of that school, was that those relationships that we formed together, they were just incredible. Life lessons that I will definitely take with me, throughout my coaching career, throughout my life, just as a young woman in general, kind of just forming the sisterhood relationship that IC is all about. And I think that is our biggest sell just as a school as a whole. Kind of having the ability to tell people how much of the sisterhood IC does create for you, and friends that really do last a lifetime. They become actual sisters, and teachers who actually become role models that, I always kept in touch with even before I was employed by IC. I kept in touch with them via Instagram, via Facebook. And it's just really nice because we had such a relationship with them, which is, to me, very, very personable. And I think that's something that I'll definitely take with me throughout my life.
Nice.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about this year's team, like some players, what your expectations are and stuff, and so on?
So our first expectation this year is to turn the culture around. Like I had said, the girls went through a lot with the coaching change. So my plan this year was, number one, to become a family, to implement a team-like, family-like, having your back culture. Because in my opinion, you can have the most talented squad, but if you don't have a team who cares about each other and who has each other's backs, you're not going to get very far. So that's something that from the jump, From kind of the day I got hired, that was my original plan, was to be like, listen, these girls need to come together. They need to learn how to be teammates. They need to learn how to respect one another. They need to learn all of those core values, respect and dignity and love and things like that, being a family and being a team, kind of before we even get to the physical part of the game. So, obviously we do have 9 returners. We have 8 freshmen and 2 transfers. So total we have right now 19. Our returners are very, very good leaders right now. And actually our freshman squad, they're amazing. We have a lot of strong freshmen coming in, or who came in, and who actually lead as freshmen, which is really, really incredible to have, as well as, the upperclassmen, the juniors and the seniors who are leading as well. Madison, who's a returner, four-year starter for us. She's committed to Manhattan. She's been a phenomenal leader thus far. Obviously, our first scrimmage is on Friday, but, leading up to this, she has been great. Can definitely count on her a lot, as well as the whole, like I said, everybody has been so awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better squad to begin my coaching career.
Jen, I want to go off script real quick, because you made a great point, and I think it's 100% true when you just say talent. Just, you could be the most talented team. You see it on high school level, college level, professional level. That doesn't mean you're going to win, so... But, you guys won 4 in a row, and obviously you guys were very talented. But you guys won 4 in a row, and like Jen said, what was it, 7 in a row? What was it there? Like, what was that, like, besides the talent, what else would you say, what made you guys win, so many in that little era?
I think that as a team, we learned to love each other. I think that we learned as any teenagers, any type of drama. Of course, you're in all-girls school, there's going to be some sort of drama. But we kind of learned that all the drama had to be left at the gate. Before you walked onto the field, you don't bring it onto the field. I preach as a coach, you don't need to be best friends, but you need to respect each other every single day. On the field, off the field, there should be no line of disrespect ever. And I think that that's why we were so successful. Our team, when I was there from 2013 to 2016, we loved each other. We had each other's backs. Those were girls that any of us could call each other at 2:30 in the morning if they were in need of anything, and we would be there. And so obviously we respected and we loved Coach H as well. Rest in peace to him. So I think that we were just such a great family. And like I said, those are girls that we still, to this day, all of us still keep in contact. So that's, I think, the greatest part besides winning, because obviously there's life after softball. And this kind of proves it. The life after softball is us all keeping in touch and still being friends and still supporting and having the alum want to come back to our games and our alumni game and all the fundraisers we have. That's what it's all about.
Nice. It's true. Like you're saying, all the talent, in the world, but that chemistry, right, has to be there as well. And Coach, it's so obvious already. You're bringing the passion, and you'll help infuse that into your kids. It's just so nice to see. Coach, you I'm sure were active as a player at the club level, and you're active now coaching at the club level, giving private lessons. My question for you is, how important is it for your athletes to take advantage of those out-of-season playing opportunities?
Club-wise or just personal?
Both, actually.
So I always think that, the 2 hours of practice or whatever may have it a day is never enough. So I stress to our girls that the field is always open, right? Go ahead and go before, stay after, get all that work in, and working in silence, as well as being disciplined enough to work when nobody is watching, when nobody has the cameras and nobody's there to see you working. That's what's going to get you far. So it's always not about, how well we can just do as a team at practice for those 2 hours, the logged 2 hours that we practice, right? So obviously, I was not able to work with my girls until pitchers and catchers March 8th and the team until March 11th. So I told all of the girls, this is your time to work. Go to the batting cages, get with your pitching coaches, go take grounders. It doesn't matter if it's cold out, you make it work. You can throw a sock into your mirror if you're a pitcher. You can get reps with soft balls in the living room. Whatever, those girls that really find it like that, that's where they get really far. Girls who don't make excuses, it's cold out, or I can't do this and I can't do that. And we have a team for sure of girls who are just going to push through, and they're super, super talented when it comes to pushing through adversity. So that is what I'm really, 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 thankful for, and trying to super implement that to them. Because working in the off season, again, we only really have from March until the beginning of June as our season. So that's really only 3 months out of the year. So those other 9 months, that's your time to work with your club coaches, your time to get recruited as well, your time to work with your private infielding coaches, private pitching instructors, private fielding lessons, because you're never going to just get better working out 1 hour one day.
And again, my last one, obviously, it's going to go back to when you were a player, but what's going to focus now as a coach, because like I said, the times I did go see you guys a lot, to go see with my sister and, see Jody and stuff like that. And I remember a couple times, like the one thing that stood out about like watching you was, hey, there was a couple games where it would either, you walked a couple or they got a hit or you guys got an error. And I remember in big games, like I don't know if it was a state final or it might have been like a sectional or something like that. And it was like bases loaded, no outs. You guys might be winning 1-0. And it's like, okay, the other team's definitely going to get one run, but like in a couple of times, I just remember it was like strikeout, pop out, get out of that inning. And that's like so impressive, because it's like you were like a power pitcher, and like you had to turn it up right there and get those 2 strikeouts. Because listen, what is the coach going to tell the girl? Hey, just put the ball in play. We're going to, we'll score a run. And you didn't. It was like strikeout, you get out of the inning. So my question is, when you had that mentality as a player, how now as a coach, especially with your pitcher, whether it's this year or in the future for as long as you coach, like, how is that, like, where is that going to relate? And for you to, I guess, like you working with your pitcher one-on-one, like, how is it going to relate from what you did as a player to now to your pitchers on the team?
Right. So in using those examples, I think that kind of shows how important it is as a pitcher to get ahead. I stress to my pitchers, and I've seen it myself playing in college, that as soon as you get behind in the count, you're putting yourself in a negative situation. Not getting the first runner out of the game, whether that be a strikeout, a ground out, a pop out, allowing that first base runner to get onto the game, kind of, again, putting yourself in a negative situation. As soon as we start the batter off with a ball, and then it goes 2 balls, and then once we're 3-0, right, you're kind of stuck. Because obviously as a hitter, that pitcher has to come to you. So I think that I learned as well. And I did get myself out of some situations, but my mindset was always, it's now or never. So I either have to get these girls out, or in my head, we're losing. And I wasn't okay with losing. So as a coach now, obviously nobody's perfect, and we are going to get down at some points, and our pitchers are going to get behind, and we're going to have bases loaded and no outs and at some points. But that's where you kind of have to be able to push through the adversity and find that inner strength there. And that's kind of your time to, show how tough you are mentally and physically. And then on the other side of that, it shows that getting ahead is super, super important. Coming out strong, starting strong as a pitcher, starting strong even as a player, as a fielder, everything. Starting strong, how you start the game is so, so imperative. It sets the tone. And I think that this year our staff were really about setting the tone, and how you can present yourself to others. Like I said in the beginning, is a little bit more than talent, right? If you come out and you're kind of moping around versus you're coming out strong, you have high energy, you're cheering, the other team sees that you have very, very high energy. You're loud, you're talking, you're excited. That already sets the other team off. So I think that having the ability to start out like that, which that doesn't take any talent at all, being a good teammate, cheering, coming with positive energy, positive mindset, that's all stuff that doesn't take any talent. So things like that, it's things like that that's difficult to coach. And I'm super, super excited that this team right now, it's not much to coach with that. And that's awesome, to have our staff have the ability to have those types of girls. So I love them, already. And I'm super, super excited for the season. I know our staff is so excited. We're like itching to play. We have a really good squad that we're playing on Friday, Hudson Catholic, with Coach Lopez. So it's going to be a really, really great time to kick off our season.
Coach, you want to mention your staff members while we have a moment?
Of course. So we have Coach Andy, who graduated with myself in 2016. She was a phenomenal teammate, a great player. She went on and played at William Patterson. We have Coach Carlos, who played for the Mets. So he's awesome. He's going to be such a big asset this year, for infielding and for hitting as well, considering he also gives private hitting lessons. And then we have Coach Rob, he's amazing. He was the interim coach last year, and he's just bringing a lot of good knowledge to the team for sure. So it's really awesome being able to have 2 alum in there, as well as, 2 men who can provide so many different aspects of knowledge of the game. So I think that we have so many areas covered that we're really set, and I couldn't be any more thankful and for my staff right now.
Now, Coach, you guys have 1 level or 2 levels?
Right now we have a varsity squad.
Okay.
And Coach, if you're meeting with like a prospective student athlete, a young girl who's considering coming to IC for academics and athletics, what would you tell her would be some good reasons to choose IC for her high school?
So I think that being an alum really helps me. And I think that, excluding softball, just the school itself was such a great school for me. I think that I learned, again, like I had said before, so many life lessons, so many friends that I made. And I think that if I didn't love it as much as I did, I wouldn't be back here. So I think it's a pretty good testament to, the staff of the school and the principals and just the environment and the culture that the school provides for these young women. I think that it's just such a great opportunity to grow as a young woman, to learn about everything that, the education. They also have a where you're allowed to go to Felician and take college courses, which not many high schools have that opportunity. So there's so many different positive things about the school that it's just such a great sell. And I think that, myself going through it, it's super easy for me to talk about. I could talk about IC all day, every day because of how much I loved it there.
Nice. Coach, before we let you go, we have one little segment we do that we like to call rapid fire. So these are a little more quick paced, I always say like more fun, not so serious questions.
Okay, Sarah, as a player, what was your biggest win for IC softball when you played?
My state championship my senior year. I think we were down actually, and then I remember this like it was yesterday. I came into the girls and I was like, listen, just get me 2 runs and I'll hold them, I promise. So just get me these 2 runs. And like the floodgates open. I think we had scored like 4 or 5 that one inning, and it was just like such a great feeling because we knew as a team that we were going to be the first ones to win those 4. So I'm like, oh my goodness. And it was just, we were like best friends, and it was just such a great feeling. And that win was the best one ever for sure.
That's awesome. And Coach, while you were a player at IC, or maybe even now, maybe it's changed, maybe it's the same, who's your biggest rival, would you say?
Ooh, I would say, so we only actually played them my sophomore year, but IHA, they're a phenomenal program, a phenomenal coaching staff. They're just great all around. So I always looked forward to playing them and watching them. I looked up to them as a player, and I always think, what can I learn from Coach Diane Bassano? She's awesome. She has done such a great job with that program. So I'm always looking to learn, and who we can play who's very competitive, and they have been competitive ever since I was in like 7th grade. So they're awesome, and they were definitely one of the teams that I had wanted to always verse when I was in high school.
Okay, this is one of the questions we ask every week to every one of our guests, but obviously IC is in Lodi, so you have the Garfield, I guess South Hackensack, Borders, Saddlebrook, wherever, Elmwood Park. What is your favorite pizza place near IC?
I have to say Scardino's.
Oh,
I say that because it's on Main Street. So actually, funny story, when I was a freshman, so I was like 14, we would go after school. My dad would get out of work pretty late, so I had to kind of chill out after school and wait for my dad to come pick me up. So I used to walk to Scardino's with my friends and go get pizza when I was like 14 with my $2.50, whatever my dad gave me. And so they're actually still there. It's so funny you say that. I actually had lunch from there today.
Ah, we got to check that out.
In your mind.
I didn't get pizza though, but their food is really good. They've moved now into a shopping center, but still on Main Street. So we definitely have to check that out.
All right, we do. Add it to the list. Add it to the list. Coach, are you a coffee drinker?
Yeah, iced coffee though, not hot.
All right. Dunkin' or Starbucks?
Ooh, Dunkin'.
All right. Nice.
Okay, my last one. Yes or no? Will you be throwing some kind of like live batting practice at all to the girls?
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome.
Okay.
A hard yes. Not even.
Okay.
No hesitation.
All right.
Love it.
Yeah.
Coach, what is the most used emoji on your phone?
The blue heart and the wolf emoji. I'm not even.
Nice.
There you go.
Very awesome.
There
Great
it is.
Answer. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We would love to catch up with you during the season if possible, and have check in. Maybe bring some of your players on.
Sure.
And we wish you nothing but the best in your first season there.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Good
Good night.
Okay, so she's fine. Hey, you would love to play for her. She's ready to roll,
100%.
Ready to roll. And, just like she said, like for her alma mater, she's been there, she's done it. It's just, a lot of people don't get to coach at their school first, you know, a lot of times, especially as a head coach, you know, maybe as assistant you'll go there, then it's like a head coach probably opens up somewhere, do you go, and now maybe you come back, but she's doing it right out of the gate, so it's awesome. Hey, you could tell she loves that school, she loved that 4 years, what it meant to her.
Has the passion for the game, the expertise, of course, and like you said, it just it's a nice recipe there because she's lived it, she knows it, and she wants to, you know, bring it back to the you know, the experience she had. So those kids are very lucky to and the school to have her at the helm.
And you know what really stood out for me is, and again, you know, I'm going to talk about March Madness for a second, but you know, you fill out a bracket and you're like, okay, well, who's the 4 best teams? Gonzaga, Kansas, yada yada yada, all, right? But the thing where Kenny's saying our good friend Roger worked there at Scardino, so you gotta check that out.
Too funny.
But you know, the thing is where she's selling, like, listen, they know they're a very talented team just on paper, but where it's selling, where that's not going to get you a championship,
right?
You know, and you see it like on every level. It's like so crazy. Like, how does that team not? What do we always say? How does that team not win with all the talent? You know. It's true. You know, you need other stuff, not just the talent, to win when you're saying 100%. A championship and to have a championship year. So, hey, congratulations on you getting the position, and
best of luck.
Best of luck, man. You know, we'll follow up with them, and
100%.
hopefully they're ready to roll.
Yep.
And you got to remember, you know, the other thing, when you say like Bergen County like tournaments and stuff, you know, they're a small group school.
Right.
They're not as big as IHA, Holy Angels, Paramus Catholic, and listen, they're in there as favorites in semifinals, quarterfinals every year. So, I mean, tremendous program.
Yeah. So,
but
to Coach, thank you again for Christy for joining us, and congratulations on her accomplishments once again this season. Best of luck to Coach Piening and her team this year.
Jen, Kenny's saying, Jenny Hoops, I need you for 10 minutes segment on college hoops tomorrow. I want your input on the tournament and expert analysis.
I don't know. I got a lot going on tomorrow night.
Say, Kenny, you got to get her. You got to get her. But I will say this.
I'll try my best.
I'm going to go out on a limb. This has been, what, a year we've been doing this? A year and a half?
Like, more like, probably like 2. Yeah.
Okay. We will never have a 2,000-point scorer and a 4-time state champion at the same time.
Screen.
We just won't.
I made that mistake, and
that's just no. I just mean it's never gonna happen.
I know. Yeah.
How can you get better than that?
I know.
It's crazy.
It was good. But
everybody enjoy the tournament, and we'll see you guys next week.